Hello guys, and welcome to a brand new video. As you can see, today we are playing F1 2010, the first, well, technically the first proper installment for consoles on the Codemasters franchise for F1 games, and taking a step back in history to this game, and it's just a bit of a refresher to see, you know, how far Codemasters have come, and just to see all the little changes and stuff that have occurred over the years. And it's just good to really go back to basics and see, you know, what the first installment of F1 was like. So here we are around Istanbul, and we're just going to do a 20% race around Istanbul, sorry. And loading up the setup isn't available to us, so we're going to have to pretty much make a setup from scratch. And if I remember correctly, you know, the setups don't change all that much, you know, over the years. You know, you might see some different things, like the ballast distribution. It was a feature in the F1 2010 game which seemed to make a small effect on the game, but as you can see here, most of the setup options are pretty much the same throughout all the Codemasters F1 games. Spring stiffness was a bit different. You had to, I remember on 2010 you had to run something like one rear spring to get better traction out of corners, and you know, I don't know if that's entirely true now, but you know, back in the day it did work. But gearbox, apparently you could run like 6-speed gearboxes on this game at some tracks, and it was faster than 7-speed gearboxes, which was weird. And that's something we'll have to watch out for on F1 2014, having 8 gears to play with the ratios. We may even see only 7 or 6 gears being used for most tracks. But here we are in practice around Istanbul. Let's go out on track and see how this game feels. And yeah, just doing a few sighting laps pretty much, and it took quite a long time to get used to this game again. Of course, one big thing about this game was the auto spin curbs. If you thought the auto spin curbs were bad on F1 2013, then you've got something coming for you. So yeah, here we are completing our second lap, and this should be a decent time. No, it's actually pretty crap. 144, about 11 seconds off the pace, but just trying to find my feet here, getting used to the handling model once again. I've turned off all of the assists for this race. Back when I did do F1 2010, I had pretty much all the assists on, like traction control, ABS, even driving line. And yeah, it was very interesting to return to this game in conditions that I've not quite prepared for. And back on F1 2010, I used the pad as well, so returning to this game on the wheel was you know, quite new to me. This whole game feels very new to me because I'm doing things that I've not really done before. So, you know, putting in a few laps now, we've almost done 10 laps, and I think now I'm starting to find my feet on this game. I've now set a 129.0, and I've gone 6 fastest so far, but this should be our best lap. We put it up into fast, and we go fastest there with a 127.6, 1.4 seconds better than our previous personal best. So we ended up first at the end of the session, driving as Robert Kubica, and quite good to see Mark Webber ahead of Sebastian Vettel as well. So we're not going to do qualifying in this video. We're just going to start at the back and come through the field, especially since we do have pace around this track. So I think it might be interesting to show you guys a gameplay of this game starting from the back, just to show you how the AI reacts as well. I think that'd be pretty cool. So here we are, ready for the start, starting in 24th place with a few new drivers in the mix as well, old drivers technically. But here we are, ready for the start, and away we go. And we've got the multicam view ready for this race here, so I can show you guys some of the replay cameras that this game has to offer as well. But coming up to turn 1, and we're just going to take it nice and easy. Try not to cause any incidents. We don't want any penalties. We just want to have a nice race coming through the field as cleanly as we can. So yeah, coming through here, turn, I think it's 4 or 5, and we're in position 21 at the moment, trying to go around the outside of Karun Chandok in that HRT, and got off to a fairly nice start so far. Kovalainen gets a bit sideways as he gets tangled up with his teammate Jarno Trulli there. But yeah, just quite a different game to what we're used to on F1 2013. This game, the handling model, it's very understeery. The cars feel very stiff, and it's very hard to really get a feel for the car with the force feedback and what have you. So as we see Maldonado, no, that's not Maldonado, that's a Williams there that spun, and they've completely taken out some of the backmarker teams. It's very easy to assume when you see Williams spinning out or crashing, you just assume it's Maldonado, but of course he isn't on the grid yet. But they're putting the car up into fast, getting around the outside of Jarno Trulli into this fast right-hander, which is very tough to take on this game, surprisingly. I ran off the track many times there. It just felt very clumsy, but the high-speed grip and turning ability of these cars on this game is very underpowered. You can't really carry a lot of speed into high-speed corners like you can on F1 2013, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's something to get used to. Also, for wheel users, you have to go to full lock to get the optimal amount of turning ability or turning grip on this game, whereas on F1 2013 and F1 2012 you really had to go to about 90 degrees steering lock to get the optimal amount of bite out of your tyres. But we go around the outside of who was that? I can't even remember anymore, but we're now into P14 now as we get past one of the Renault cars, our teammate. No, I'm looking at myself there. That's embarrassing. We got around one of the Toro Rossos rather, and yeah, we're settling through into the mid-pack runners now, and just ever so slightly progressing our way up the field. And in terms of pit strategy today, the tyre wear isn't so bad, so we're looking at one stop. Of course, there's no tyre scaling on this game, so the tyre wear is actually almost not there to be honest, because yeah, as I said, the tyre scaling isn't there. The Bridgestones back in 2010 were very volatile and reliable, so you could go on eternity on these tyres in a race length. Even in 50% races and 100% races on this game, you're always looking at one stop, especially with the prime tyres. They're just so damn consistent. As we go around the outside of one of the Force Indias, and we accidentally tangled up with them, so fortunately no penalty there, which was surprising. But yeah, getting back to this race, and I decided to go with a shorter race because if I would have done a longer race, there wouldn't have been any tyre strategy either, so a bit unfortunate, so I just stuck with a shorter race on this occasion. But here we are on lap 4. We've got ourselves up into P7, going around the inside of our teammate Vitaly Petrov, and on the previous lap we saw some people opting to come in for their pit stop, and we should be coming into the pits right now. Yes, we are, and thankfully our teammate there doesn't come in at the same time, otherwise that would have been a bit of a disaster to see both the team cars stacking in the pit lane. But coming into the pits here, and you have to slow down for your pit stop here because the pit stops are manual on this game, and that's something I really enjoyed about this game. You had to slow down to come into the pit lane, press the button, and it looks like we're actually getting held in the pit lane here as everyone is pretty much pitting on the same lap. We've been held for 11 seconds, and that is just absolutely killed our race here. We're pretty much going to be in just about last place here, so that we're going to have to make up all those positions again and set ourselves off for the front of the field again. It's going to take an almighty effort to get back up the field, but getting back to the manual pit stops, I really hope that's something that returns in F1 2014. It really just adds to the strategy of racing competitively with other people, because at the moment pit stops are all the same amount of time. There's no strategy to them, there's no variance, and just adding that can really separate the good drivers from bad drivers, I suppose, in another aspect. But here we are on lap 6, going around the outside of our teammate Vitaly Petrov, and there's just enough room for us both to squeeze through that little kink there, which is fairly easy to negotiate on this game. But here we are, P12 on lap 7, going around the outside of Jenson Button into turn 1, and yeah, interesting to see that the AI going very slowly on the apexes of corners when they're trying to defend their position. So that's something that hasn't changed for 4 years on Codemasters games, unfortunately. The AI tending not to be too smart when they defend against real-life players. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but it's something they'll need to work on for future games with the potential of next gen and increased memory, what have you. We could see the AI being a little bit better in terms of racecraft. But now we're going around the outside of Michael Schumacher now in that Mercedes, which is good to see Michael back on the grid again, trying to force our way coming through the middle sector now. And we're going to try and negotiate around him coming through turn 8 now, which is very hard to negotiate this set of corners. We bump Schumacher there, who brakes all of a sudden through that corner, which is a bit weird. But you actually have to lift quite a bit through turn 8 there, which is a little bit frustrating. You'd expect a Formula 1 car to pretty much get through that corner without, you know, any hassles. But we get around Schumacher around the outside on the straight there. And now we're into position 5 on the last lap here. This race has pretty much gone like a flash. I've tried to cover a lot of things. I had a lot of things I wanted to say in this race, but there's just not enough time to say them. So, yeah, that's been this race. Mark Webber takes out this race as well. We got Antonio Liuzzi. I was going to say Valentino Rossi or something like that. For some crazy reason, but we come across the line. We're in P5. We got pretty much no tyre wear, but it was a pretty action-packed and fun race. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My first sort of return race to F1 2010. If you want to see any more of these videos in the future, then let me know. I really did enjoy coming back to this game and just experimenting with a few things, as you saw with the, you know, the camera angles and stuff. That was pretty cool. But yeah, Mark Webber takes out this race from Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton. We ended up in 5th, just going through the back of the field now, just to see where everyone ended up. Sebastian Vettel in 10th, which is a bit odd to see. And yeah, a few different drivers on the grid. But yeah, that's been this video for today. Until my next one, guys, I'll see you next time.
It took some time to make it come out right. You're burning up the inside. To breathe a lie is part of your